हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू न्यू वीडियो ऑफ टालिन वॉकिंग टूर। जैसा कि लास्ट वीडियो में मैंने बताया था, आज हम लेंगे एक गाइडेड टूर ग्रुप के साथ। इसमें मैं अब ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा, अब आगे आप देखिए गाइडेड टूर एंड एंजॉय द वीडियो एंड प्लीज़ लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब।
Would you like to hear the worst joke of the tour? Yeah? Yes. Well. Thank you. 6 years in the making. Turns out we had to dig ourselves a well. But this was back-breaking work. Many days, blood, sweat, and tears later, we found the water and we gave it a try to see if it was worth the effort. Disgusting as hell. Salty, muddy, slimy, undrinkable. And what an effort, yeah? So we decided not to dig another well to find the same water. Instead, we decided to turn to the smartest folks of the time. And those people are the ones who know how to read. And they are the ones who do know how to write as well. So who could they be, what do you think? Monks, absolutely right. And it was the smartest monk of the area, Brother Albert, who comes to our aid and tells us that no matter who you are, you can make the water here drinkable by simply doing this. Imagine you're walking around, beautiful day, and then you see a cat. You see the cat? Yeah, you see the cat there as well? No. Big one. So it's yes. Yes, it's yes. So your job is to pick this lovely feline into your arms, bring it next to the well, and let it go. Yeah? Brother Albert tells us cats improve the taste of water.
Makes sense.
Do they?
Of course.
Well, we were in doubts as well whether Albert was right in his mind, but in those days, who are we to question the wisdom of the monks? So apparently cats do improve the water. It takes us about a month, 14 cats later, to realize Brother Albert was wrong. Who would have guessed? We ruined now our only reliable source of drinking water in the town. And we are now left to drinking river water, which is good for 2 days, then it's alive, yeah? And we bring it from afar away on our backs. Not the life these merchants wanted to live. Luckily though, our struggle doesn't last too long because different monks, they come here as well, and they teach us a trick. Exactly, not the boil. We can boil it as well, we know how to do it, but it's a trick how to change water into something different. Not wine. Here, exactly. Make it bubblicious, make it delicious, and make it last you about a month. Amazing. This drink was heaven sent. Everybody drinks it. Men, women, children. Yeah. Sorry?
Children.
Children. Absolutely right. It's 2% strong, kills bacteria. It is heaven sent. Now, the locals will love it. And the church, who comes here after the violent Danes, bringing more of a peaceful way, hoping that this would bring the locals into the church. Well, they're not doing that well because they speak to us in Latin, and we know parlay Latin here, yeah? And in addition to that, they give us red wine, which often coming from the south went bad along the way. So we don't go to the church. But when the church sees how crazy we go for beer, they decide to try something. They took away the blood of Christ, wine, replaced it with beer. Wow, the results, huh? On a Sunday, pagans lining up one after another, waiting to not so much get themselves Christianized, but instead get themselves some free beer and a free loaf of bread to fill their hungry bellies. So at the end of it, even the locals started thinking, I don't know why the church is here, but I like the way they treat us. So maybe it's not that bad of a place. In other words, beer became the best way to Christianize Estonians. Nice. And he tells us, ye can never brew beer in this place ever again. Do the simple math. No beer, no Christianization of the locals, yeah? Luckily the monks, they send a barrel of their finest beer to the Pope. So imagine when he tries this new nectar of the gods, yeah? Hey, he'll understand that this is good stuff. Turns out like the wine coming here, so did the beer going there. In 4 months, in a wooden barrel in blazing summer heat, went real sour along the way. So when the Pope tries this new nectar, like the water here, he spits the beer out right away. Stumbles down, and he becomes scared. Would any of you know why the Pope would be scared? Yeah, exactly. If you drink something that disgusting and horrible, you don't know if this is an attempt on your life, yeah? the Pope realizes he's not dying, comes to a conclusion, drinking this is just plain horrible, you suffer when you do this, yeah? But one of the principles is that suffering, yeah, when we go through hardships, it takes us closer to the divine light. If that is the case, and if the Estonians want to torture themselves drinking mucus like that, let them have it. It brings them closer to God than ever before. And that is why the Pope allowed the brewing of beer to continue in this town. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please take your carriage as long as you like. So lovely to see you along. Now some of these buildings they had a refreshing. They've been refreshed a bit. But whenever you restore old buildings, usually it takes you up to years to do that, because if you want to preserve this UNESCO heritage, you have to follow a lot of rules, guidelines, how to do it the right way so that you will not harm any of the old buildings or any of the way it was built. I would say he's hunter at heart, and he wants to catch the main course himself. So as a mighty king, a fine hunter, when you hunt animals, do you run after them or do you take a horse? Spoken like a king as well again. So that is why we all saw the king mount his noble steed. Exactly. Yeah, bit of a pony there, but that'll do anyways. And with the help of your hands there, let's give the king some tempo. The king starts riding around. He looks to the left. Yeah. He looks to the front. And he looks to the right. And he comes to a stop. Because the king now hears and sees a shaky bush. What is in that bush? We don't know. We were not there. But you know, my dear king, so let me ask you a simple yes or no question. I know you'll know it because you remember it well. Now, in that bush, was it the counterattack of the Estonians?
No, was it one of those?
Well, your gut feeling leads you right. No Estonians in a small bush. Look at the size of us. Yeah? It's a deer.
A deer.
And the deer here is, of course, none other than this fine lord. So it has his ears attached to the head. So, and I'll ask you to kindly hold it there, so that now when you see the king noticing the deer and the deer noticing the king, sharing a lovely glance at one another. Oh.
What do I have, the bow and arrow?
No, you just have a lovely glance at him at the moment. Till the deer realizes it's not because the king is sweet, it's because the king, he wants to eat. Yeah. So the deer decides to turn around and run and make his escape. And the king on this wild big pony or horse, whatever it was, goes right after the wild chase begins. And he run, and he run, and he run. And he run, and he run, and he run, and he run, as long as they would like. And when finally, this is the place. Whew, no, not here. See, here was the perfect place. One step up. Excellent. The chase comes to a stop, and the deer is now cornered, you see, at the edge of a cliff. What cliff in reality? That cliff behind. Yeah. So, the deer, still with ears, now he's cornered, he looks down. Tell us, is it scary? It is. He looks at the king, maybe there's a change. Obviously, even worse. So, now he looks down the second time, realizing half as scary as the king. Decides to take a leap of faith. Exactly. The deer, imagine, springs into the air, escapes the king and claims its freedom. But from such a height, it was too high, the deer lost its life. But look at the jaw of the king. It fell to the floor. Out of amazement. But how is it possible that even the wildlife in these lands could resist such a mighty ruler? So recognizing the bravery of what you did, my friend, King Valdemar decides to name these newly conquered lands by giving it two old Germanic words. Re, meaning a deer, fall, meaning to fall. Hence giving Tallinn its original name, Refal, which means nothing less and nothing more than the fall of a deer. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. And it all started in Germany, in Lübeck. They set up their own towns, which they have their own laws and their own rules. And in a town like this, where we govern it, it wouldn't matter who you are, who you're born as. What would matter now is what you do. In a place like this, you can use your skills, talents, and knowledge to lift yourself up by your own bootstraps. Beautiful, right? But the most important part about these merchant towns from Germany all the way here is the Lübeck city law, which says that no matter who you are, if you come to a town like this, work with the people for 1 year and 1 day, then officially, legally, you are free as well. Never again would you have to work for anybody else, only for yourself if you'd like to. In other words, merchants started parading around, setting these towns up, that we can be the champions of our own life. This started taking away slaves from the upper classes though, and they did not like it at all. Exactly. So merchants are who? They are the thieves and pirates, yeah? Because they take excessive money. But because they spread lies and rumors and whatnot about you being free, they are now having themselves a campaign against them from the upper classes, which leads them to such a bad, with such a bad reputation that you can blame a merchant for whatever is wrong in your life. I ask you, my lady, do you have something white on? Have you ever had something red and it spilled on the white?
Never.
Never. Never?
Well, okay.
Yeah?
Once.
And when it did, whose fault was that?
Mine.
No.
Who? Red wine.
It's the...
Merchant.
Absolutely right. What about you, my lord? I see you have oculars there. Have they ever fallen down? Whose fault?
The merchant.
Absolutely right. What about you, my lady? Ever hit your little toe?
Many times.
Many times. Still there though?
It is.
It is. Whose fault?
The stone.
Stone?
Merchant's.
Yeah, yeah. If the merchant put the stone there, absolutely right.
My shoes were stone.
So all in all, just so that we would be on the same page, today is sunny because we are blessed, but if it will be raining, it's because... Thank you kindly, it's me to blame. But nonetheless, they have come here. And by coming here, their aim, as I said at the start, I told you this became one of the most important trading towns. Their aim was to do so because they knew we had here a secret. There's a race to find the Silk Road. Not too far from Reval, we had a river that goes through nowadays Eastern lands and ends up in nowadays Istanbul, Turkey, which was Constantinople, which was the shortest, quickest ways to the riches of the Silk Road. So the best part of the Germans' plan was knowing that this river route existed. This is what the Vikings used when they passed us by, before centuries, yeah? So they sent merchants to a gateway between two completely different worlds, knowing that this is a gold mine, is what it was. Start is rough. As soon as they start handing out freedom, in a sense, it starts getting its momentum, and at one point we become so wealthy. And may I have a bit of a drum roll? We become so wealthy that in a small town like this, we were able to build the tallest building in the world. Oh, wait till you see the actual one. It's a medieval church. You have to lower your standards. It doesn't show from here. But we will see it along the way as we now go down that street. And when we do see that, that's a sound of surprise. That's what I'd like you to have as well. Makes the show work perfectly. Yeah. So let's head down those stairs and then... For us to understand how these streets smell, we must first understand what do we get from the Silk Road when we're trading with them. And I'd like to ask you, spices? What else?
Drugs.
Sorry?
Drugs.
Drugs?
Thank you.
Frequent user? That answer came out light and fast, so I had to ask. So, in addition to spices and other kinds of aromas, fabrics, pottery, ceramics, silk, exactly, beautiful. Exotic food as well, but spices was the answer I was looking for. And since I heard, I remember Paula is the name. You said it first. May I have you join me here? And round of applause for Lady Paula, everybody. And since you seem to know everything about spices, I will test you if you have what it takes to be a merchant. For that, mystery bag. A horse? Oh, yeah. Well, let's take that. A mystery bag, yeah? So, Lady Paula, I'd like you to extend your hand and weigh this bag, telling us exactly how many grams are inside. That's a great one. Compare it to a bar of chocolate. Do you eat chocolate? Oh, good guess. Double it. 100 grams right with the very first try. Amazing. And Lady Paula, I'd like you to now open this bag. Take some of those things out. Show it to the lovely guests. Don't tell us what it is. Just show it. Exactly. Yeah? Have you ever seen what a peppercorn looks like?
Yes.
Yeah? Here's the whole bag of it. And if you're not surprised by it, I don't blame you, because nowadays it costs nothing. It's everywhere, yeah? However, in the 1300s of Reval, here, for Paula to get her hands on spices like this, she first had to have enough wealth to build herself narrow, specific kinds of boats, to take on these difficult rivers to Constantinople, which is a challenge on its own. But in addition to this, actual piracy exists. Yeah, they may want to take whatever you have. Sometimes they take it all. So to get your hands on spices means you're risking your life, you're risking everything, which made these so expensive that a bag like this. Now, just you can pass it around, just weigh it. Yeah, that a bag like this, 100 grams, was approximately worth 5 grams of gold in those days. So if you do indeed are successful on your voyage back as well, with a boat full of pepper, turns out it's a boat full of gold, is what it is, yeah? Now, for a moment, I won't ask it back, but I will take a corn. Thank you. You can pass it around. Because I want to make you the wealthiest Lady Paula today. By departing with an entire grain, you see? For you. My pleasure. Keep it close. Trouble finds you. Buy your way out. Take this small group to a spa, a dinner. Pay with this. Tell them to keep the change. Wealthiest lady of the town, everybody. Lady Paula. And since spices were so expensive, we come now to the smells, which is that now, as we have acquired various kinds of spices, we cook food every day, but now we start putting these spices into our food. And the way we use it is brilliant. There is not a competition amongst us as merchants, there is only cooperation. And with spices it's this. You wake up, my lord, earliest in the morning, you stretch, you smell, nobody's cooking with spices yet, you decide to go with pepper. Next door merchant realizes pepper is taken, you take a different one. It's cinnamon for you.
How did you know?
It's the spice of love, seed full of love. Then it's cumin for you. It's saffron, it's aniseed, it's nutmeg, and so on and so on. And the idea, thank you, idea is simple. If you as a foreigner would arrive to Reval and walking down a business street like this on a daily basis, you would feel all the different smells of those faraway lands. In short, letting you know that the streets, they could smell like gold. Wow. Not that bad at all anymore, yeah? And this is the kind of a mentality and attitude that indeed allowed us to become so wealthy, to make use of our location, and allowed us to build the tallest building in the world. Wow. Speechless. Yeah? It is the Church of St. Olaf, my dear guests, which when completed was 159 meters, close to 400 feet. But we had made a colossal mistake. We made the top of it out of metal. And can anybody tell me what does metal attract? Lightning. I'll let the horses and the lovely children pass, otherwise I'm being too loud. So lightning, yes, the same, Lord? I say no. I say the anger of God, as it was translated, that whatever happens in the world, this is God's will. And if this church gets hit in a very small amount of time, not just once or twice, but a rough 17 times, there is no question we had built the tower too close to God. Lightning, its way of punishing us. Last time it gets hit, the strike is so powerful, the spire collapses. We look at the ruins and realize we misplaced the guilt or the blame, yeah? Turns out it's just metal that attracts. It's the laws of conductivity, yeah? God was never angry, but we also realized, hey, for 76 years, we also had the tallest lightning rod ever constructed. Like, 2 titles are indeed better than 1. Would you agree? Exactly. We became more because of it. But after that, we shortened it. And over time, it has become now 125 meters, which is about 370 feet-ish. Yeah. Up there, if you have the chance, if you have the time, if you have the energy, go up there where the smaller towers are, I'd say, whoa, you're in it to win it up there. It's an adventurous 226 spiraling stairs take you all the way to the top. You have a beautiful 360 of the old town, of the further parts, and of the beautiful sky that surrounds us today. Ticket is, I think, €5 per nose. Definitely a worthy visit if you have the time for it. But for us, there's only a single story remaining with that church, which is a story about how gravity works when you're up there. And, and that story I'd like to tell you when we go a little bit closer to the church. So after this horse on your left. A different kind of an entrepreneur Susan is. She grew up as a daughter of a farmer, I believe. See? But she didn't always want to become a farmer, did you? No. She had higher hopes, higher dreams, literally. Meaning she wanted to be a performer. And when she heard about the promise of Reval, that here, it doesn't matter who you are, here you can do what your heart tells you to do, she decided to come here. And she saw the tallest building in the world. And as you're looking now, you on the left-hand side see these 3 doors, yes? Susan tells you she's going to walk the sky. You've never seen anybody walk the sky before, have you? Never. Now this is a rumor that spreads like wildfire, and when it's time to act, Susan, you have caught the attention of almost everybody in town. We are talking about 4,000 folks gathering underneath the church. They want to know what you're going to do. So what she's going to do is that across the street, we had a rope tower, quite a tall one, now destroyed because of last century's wars. But between the two, you could attach a rope. So when you make that rope real tight, what can you do on it? Absolutely right, you walk on it. So Susan, you're all the way up there. Have you done this before?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah? So, you have everybody here holding their breaths. You're at St. Olaf Church. That line over there is the rope tower, and the crowd goes, yeah? Yeah? Show us how it's done. Ooh. Ooh. And it's like a walk in the park. She does it. How do you feel? Going back again? Wow. Now, feeling alive? Exactly. The third time, turns out this is a stunt unlike we've ever seen. The crowd goes wild, we applaud. It's so inspiring, Susan, that others tried to do the same. Tried. Because up there, the winds tend to be much stronger than they are down here. Sometimes a friendly bird flies by, bumps you in the shoulder, not doing that good anymore, and you meet the management. And in those cases, I ask you, when you applaud as the medieval audience for Lady Susan for crossing the road, how would you react as a medieval audience when somebody fell to their death? Laugh and boo? Sir, how are you raised? So, maybe we all had some crazy folk around. Not the exact reaction I was hoping for, but close. applauding as well, by the way. They would applaud when they saw somebody fall there. Why would they applaud? Because it is still inspiring. Not to see somebody die, but to see somebody go all the way to the sky, performing in front of an audience of the size of an army, as a farmer's daughter even. Proving a point that whoever was up on that rope, didn't matter if they go across or if they fall down. In a world like this, which is highly strict and always been so, there is another way we can live as well. And so the names of those performers, equally dead or alive, were written down the same in the city chronicles, so centuries later we still find out about their story. So for proving a point that risking her life today on a joyous day like this, round of applause for Lady Susan. Thank you kindly. Now my dear guests, to continue on, one single family. Thank God for the whip tax. It allowed us to build palaces and castles. You never know where something good comes, yeah? Life surprises you. Second tax is for all the lovely ladies. It's the beauty. I'll show you how a lady in the Lord would walk on a street like this, which is clearly higher in the middle. Kathy, you are exactly where you're supposed to be, in the highest point. Larry, the Lord, you will be on her left, where it's lower. A little bit lower. Now, let's have a bit of a distance. Kathy, for you have a dress here.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way you hold hands is, Larry, put it like this. Kathy, like that. Try to do this. Ooh, it's a bit too spicy. This is not allowed. Instead, put it back like this. So why is the Lord down there where it's lower? Yeah, exactly. Firstly, simply, when it rains, a gentleman will have your feet get wet. Do you mind? Absolutely not. It was important to have the lady as healthy as possible. Second reason, you smell it, yeah? The streets. You got the old senses on this tour, yeah? Whenever our chamber pots, toilets get too full, we throw it down. So Kathy, indeed, when you're looking around and there's poop flying around, where does it land? In the middle or There we go, Larry. But luckily, indeed, but you are chivalrous. But you don't worry, because you don't get hit. And neither do you. Because if this is a thing, we have to make sure it doesn't hit anybody. So before you throw anything out of your window in advance, you had to yell 3 times, quite clearly, loudly, kaka, kaka, kaka. You understand the word? Very universal word, yeah? Which means that whenever a lady and a lord are walking in Reva, or all of you, whenever in another medieval town, somebody screams, you don't do this. What? No. I move faster. Stay clear of the dirt. Yeah. Thank you kindly, Lord Larry, Lady Kathy. Shoes are a thing of fashion. And in the 1200s, nobility started creating shoes with long, pointy noses. The longer the nose, the wealthier the owner. Suddenly it's a race. Larry, you got longer noses than I don't like it. Next day I have longer ones, yeah? Because it's always better to be better than your neighbor, right? So it's a race that the longest one. So the noses they started to they started to curve. Sometimes they would have bells. Imagine if you walk around. Wow. But if even that is not enough, my absolute favorite, the best thing any human has ever come up with, mirrors on the tops of your shoe nose. Why? Simple. Please, for a moment, look at your shoe noses. Imagine there are mirrors, and what looks back at you? The most beautiful person you've ever seen. Oh. Oh. Whoa. You know, if that is not enough, the straps come into play, because if you have your noses all the way up to the knee, then there's a way to tie them in. 60 centimeters was the length of a shoe nose like this. So when you walk with shoes like this, I want to teach you now how to do it. You come from many different places. This is something you can take back home. So the first thing is, you would raise your foot like a well-trained horse. Give it a try. Yeah, hold a friend, hold a loved one. And then, when you're ready, you put the toes down first, and then connect the heel. So it's up, toe, heel, up, toe, heel. Hands on your side, you keep as gracious balance as you'd like. Maybe let out the sound of a wealthy merchant laughing. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So, we have a bit of a way to go, so let's give it a try. Just see how it makes you feel. If you were to be in the medieval days, show you around. Ah. Oh, yeah. Someone's really wealthy here. Exactly. And tell me walking like this doesn't make you feel as elegant as you've ever been. No? Goofy? So it makes you stand up straight. It's very good for the back, it's very good for the calves. So summer season comes, this is the way you walk. Yeah, so on the beach you can be like this. Exactly. But it is goofy to walk around like this every day. So we did it. We bring these shoes out on occasions where everybody comes together, say festivals or events of some sort. Then you bring these shoes out. Then the people, they spread a mile away to let you through, yeah? Exactly. Also works in airports and train stations. A lot of folk around. You know, they're gonna let you through. Hello. On what? Here? Where? To my knowledge, no. Is there?
40 types of beers.
In the Old Town?
It's quite a novel.
Pardon me? What is ambivalent? Nice. I learned a new word. Ambivalent.
Through here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because of the river. Because, so that's
Ambivalent.
when they hit sword with someone else,
Yeah.
they can actually break somebody's sword.
So, may I ask you to come a little bit closer? This has a lot of people coming through as well. We give them the way, that way. Celebrating it in one voice, ridiculous out of the question. We stay inside as much as we can, light the fire, drink something warm. Tere päevast, rõõm taas näha. And drink something warm, yeah, to survive. So we don't celebrate Christmas, but we are a Catholic land, and because we haven't done it for a few years, the church here declares that it must be done whatever the situation around. So the black cats decide how to do it, and an idea comes to mind. They go to the forest. There they cut down a big green spiky tree. Probably you've seen one or two. And they drag this tree to the center of the town hall square, put it stand up straight, and have the hope that when the locals, who by the 1400s are former pagans, forest folk, would go up to the tree, see it, it's like a familiar face. Adds a bit of color as well, yeah, to this otherwise depressing scene. On paper, this idea sounded solid. In reality, people come out, it's dark, it's still very cold, there's nothing going on. You reach the square and what do you see? There's a tree torn from its hole, now standing there alone, dead. What is it like? It was a failure. Next year, however, they change it. They put the tree in the square again, but now they invite people to first gather here. Because they have 3 promises to joy you up. 1, live music. 2, torches in your hand for light and warmth. 3,
Free beer.
free beer. Exactly. Now, let's be honest. Who would take that deal? I take that deal the same. And such a deal was so lucrative, about 2,000 folks gathered, packing these streets, beer handed out as fast as lightning, not that cold anymore. Yeah? Suddenly, this mass becomes a parade, singing happens on the way, and they parade to the square, gather around the tree. The party is just amazing.
So I've already seen all this. What's publicized the German word?
It's keys, it's streets, it's greetings. That's the instrument, the hurdy-gurdy. Yeah, coolest name ever, hurdy-gurdy. Almost like Kutso the name twice. Yeah. Let's see, when we're all together, I'll continue. Until then, just enjoy the beautiful music. It's a medieval instrument. If there were bigger ones, these hurdy-gurdies as well, it's very royal. As I see, it's strings, it's keys, it even has a winch. It's a multi-instrument in one, if anything. Lucky to see it. Luck is on our side today. Let's see. Maybe we can take a step over here, just in case if the horses want to pass. I think we are now all together. So let us turn around and look over there. Is Great Hill. Now, compare this building to the other one we saw around the corner. How do they differ?
Bigger.
Exactly, bigger, wider. Looks like a church. Mightier entrance, very good. No hoist up there, exactly, perfect. So this is not a merchant house where you store cargo. This is actually a message, this building. You see, when the first merchants come here, they are something that is stuck underneath your shoe that you desperately want to get rid of. That is what a merchant is, yeah? Unwanted, disgrace. They embrace their reputation, have St. Nicholas to protect them, start giving chances for the locals to become something more, and over 200 years, they managed to build this city up from nothing, and they have become so wealthy, so powerful, most importantly, finally courageous enough to say enough is enough. So they built a message which is wide and tall as a small church. You want to tax with? We don't care. Everything had to be built in one single line, like all the houses in one line. They decided to build it inwards. We don't care. Taxes, yeah? And to top it off, the greatest thing you'll see here is that land is so deliciously expensive. This is the one that nobility sold for. Building page, sorry for quivering, the most symbolic finger. Yeah, from the lower town to the upper, with grace letting them know, look, times are changing. And in 1417, the nobility realized that they cannot fight the rise of this merchant class. And the right to rule this town finally goes every which way to the hands of the people who actually built it. Imagine 200 years of struggling, finally they do it. But that was a worthy effort they put in, not just here, but in the northern coast of Europe, with these same cities, because they carry the biggest gift that we have now to enjoy, the gift of free choice. 200 years working, 600 years, we enjoy the fruit of their labors. So, well, there's something in this town. Every time I'm here on the streets, I really enjoy saying what those people who came before us managed to do. So I hope that today you have found something in these stories for yourself as well. Christmas story. Anyways, we made a deal. Yeah, almost a blood pact here. But yeah, but personally, I think why I love this, it's a chance for me to every time on the streets become a bit better. So if you have, or let's say, if you're good in something, talented in something, want to do something, cultivate it, become good, become great, help the people around you rise, and do it with a smile. It makes the world a happier place. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, have you any kinds of questions?